In 2011, six of us concocted a crazy idea to try and visit all 43 Utah state parks in just 72 hours. What you're about to see is just a snippet of what that experience was like. But if you'd like to go along for the ride and see all of what happened behind the scenes with nonstop driving 24 hours a day and all of the beautiful experiences we had along the way, make sure you stop by your favorite state park and pick up the complete DVD. And while you're there, use this to plan your next family adventure at any of the Utah state parks.
We are on Antelope Island, 28,000 acres in the middle of the Great Salt Lake, and it's got a little bit of everything. There's opportunity for recreation, hiking and biking, natural resource protection. We've got nice sandy beaches for folks to get into the water if they do want to come and float in the salty water in the Great Salt Lake. This is definitely the best spot to access the lake from. We've got some great big mule deer, some bighorn sheep, pronghorn, and then bison that everybody comes to see. And I'd like to invite everybody out to Antelope Island. Come out and hike and bike or paddle in the Great Salt Lake. It's really a year-round thing.
Oh, the Kaibo, man, that's part of the tour, as we want to check out every one of those. And I understand that Russ is still, he likes to frequent those.
Quick spill on the park. We have two marinas, the South Marina and the North Marina. We have 3 campgrounds. There's over 100 campsites. Our primary visitors come here to picnic and to boat because of the reservoir. We have some great sandy beaches, as you've seen over here. We have a lot of folks this time of year that are out here fishing. Definitely come and visit us here at Willard Bay State Park.
Willard Bay, right? Is that how it works here, Willard Bay?
Yeah.
Cool new stamp, Hiram State Park. Woohoo!
Yeah! Yeah, baby.
He's got a gift basket here that's going to explain to you, Bill.
All right.
Sorry.
Everything Cache Valley.
All right.
So we got Gosner's cheese curds, we got Gosner's milk for you guys, and then we send you home with some Aggie. You can't come to Cache Valley and not go home with some Aggie.
I thought you'd have a roller coaster for us.
Yeah, there you go. Something that shoots you up in the air.
Go Big Blue, right?
That's right. That's right. Good stuff. Hiram State Park, water-based recreation area. We're about a 500-acre lake. It's got 33 campsites, a nature trail, and a big beach area with a swim beach, and just centered. The only park in Cache Valley. So we manage the water here. We manage 4 lakes in the valley, and then 200 miles of trail up out of Hardware Ranch. So we do both summer and winter maintenance on the trail, grooming, law enforcement, and trail patrols. This is awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. There you go.
We got our stamps, so
Enjoy.
we're going to go.
Have a safe trip.
Where's Barbara?
What the?
And you can take a picture of that anytime. See you later.
Recording him on.
I can't get in my seatbelt.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, these are so.
I wish you were here. No, I
They're
don't.
so good. Oh my God.
I'm Richard Drosbeck. I'm with the Bear Lake State Park. We're here at the Bear Lake State Park Marina, one of 3 major areas that we operate here at Bear Lake. We also have Rendezvous Beach, which is down the south end of the lake. And we also have on our east side areas from First Point, South Eden, Cisco Beach, which is really famous for the Cisco run that come in the wintertime. And then Rainbow Cove and also North Eden. Our lake level is coming up great. We're already over a foot higher than last year's high point, and probably expect another additional at least 4 more vertical feet, which will put us close to being within 4 feet of our normal high. We had some drought years. In 2004, this lake dropped almost 20 feet from its high point, so we've taken this long to get back up. This winter snowpack has been great, helping us out.
We can't believe how much snow was still up in the canyon
There's
coming
still
through.
a lot in the canyon.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to have you come visit us here at Bear Lake State Park. Visit the nice, beautiful lake. The blue aquamarine color is great. You can't find it basically anywhere else in the state. Of course, we border with Idaho, but we have a great place up here. Come visit us, enjoy the nice, clear, clean waters of Bear Lake.
Yeah, that's like cracking a cup. I wonder. No.
Did you just say crack in a cup? He was going to snort the.
Hi, I'm John Sullivan. I'm the park manager at East Canyon State Park, and you're at East Canyon State Park. Some of the unique things about this park, as I like to call it, we're your one-stop shopping state park. Between the lake, our campgrounds, our yurts, and our cabins, I think we pretty much have everybody covered when you get to this state park.
How did you acquire all this stuff? I mean, is this out of budget or out of donations?
By my exceptional powers of negotiation. Actually, we were lucky. I think we did, between other things and me maybe whining and crying a little bit too. We were able to make our case a little better than some other parks.
So how many will you allow to sleep?
We set a limit of 6, but you know how that always goes.
Yeah.
We set 6, so we'll be okay with 8. We didn't go 8, so they'd be okay with 10. Like that.
Well, you've got the pull out.
Right.
So there's 6, right?
And there's families.
You got a
obviously.
futon.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's families that show up and they go, oh, I got a family of 7. Is that?
So do they.
Yes, you're fine. As I said, we're your one-stop shopping state park. We would love to have everybody come and see us. Just make a reservation, come on out. Reservations are always encouraged. But if you get here, guaranteed to have a good time, and we're going to have what you need.
We've got 117 campsites at Rockport. We've got 7 individual campgrounds. One of them's a boat-in campground, so for people that want to come boat into a site that's nice and quiet, we got those available. We also have 3 big group campgrounds for larger groups, family reunions, that kind of stuff.
So what does it cost to camp here?
It's dirt cheap. It's $10 a night for what I call, what they term the primitive sites, which primitive doesn't do it justice because they all have individual group pavilions, fire pits, barbecue grills, picnic tables, concrete pads. I mean,
That's pretty
very
crazy.
nice.
Nice.
$10 a night.
Really
nice.
Now the other campground that has hookups and a little bit more free entry, it's still only $20 a night. So it's, compared to a private campground, say a KOA or something like that, it's really very inexpensive. Yeah, very inexpensive. I've been at Rockport for 18 years, so I've been
18.
Yeah.
So you know this place.
I know it like the back of my hand. Yeah.
There you
So
go.
yeah, I do.
You don't want to leave.
I don't. No, it's like once you find a park you love, why would you want to leave?
We took it over from Union Pacific, and it's a non-motorized trail that runs from Park City all the way to Colville. It's about 22 miles, and it's used for mountain biking, hiking. In the winter, they groom it for cross-country skiing, so it's beautiful. There are no services along the way, but you take your own water, and it's open to dogs and horses as well.
You're here at Jordanelle State Park. If there was sunlight out here, this is kind of the lake that you'd be seeing. Here at Jordanelle, we have over 140 campsites and great day use areas, great beaches, and some of the best boating that you'll find in the state. You can see down at the bottom of this sign, we've got trout and bass in here, so we get a lot of fishermen as well. But yeah, mostly boating and camping here at Jordanelle.
I'm Tracy C. I'm the assistant manager here at Wasatch Mountain State Park. We're located in Midway, Utah. We have 23,000 acres that we manage in this park. You're here at the Visitor Center. It was actually the first building opened in 1964. We have several displays. We do a ton of education programs here, and probably the highlight here is we have a pond right out back, which is actually an irrigation pond for the golf course, but it has turned into the community fishing pond. We have about 130 miles of off-highway vehicle trails, and that you can access it right from here to Snake Canyon and come all the way around and back down through the Cascade Springs area. 2 different campgrounds, remote ATV campground with 17 spots, and then the site here that has just over 100 spots in it.
Where's Deer Creek?
It is
It's on the first page. I think it's alphabetical.
Right. Okay. I'll see if I can help you find them then.
Deer Creek is a very popular park located just south of Heber, between Heber and Provo. We have a lot of nice afternoon winds that the wind surfers really like. We have some excellent trout fishing. We're a close place for a lot of the Wasatch Front to visit. A lot of boating and camping activities here. If you haven't been here before, the views are really quite spectacular. You have Mount Timpanogos in the background. It's just a beautiful place and so close for so much of the Wasatch Front area.
Thanks a lot for staying up for us.
Glad to do it.
It's 1:30 in the morning and you guys are in Duchesne, Utah at Starvation State Park. It's a nice little reservoir, tons of good fishing, lots of little osprey you can come watch and other kinds of birds, and we got some of the best walleye in the state right here. And we've got some dinosaur stuff that creeps all the way from over here from Vernal that we kind of got hidden. If you come and ask us about it, we'll show you some dinosaur tracks that are here on the park.
Hey, we're in a dig. Look, in the middle of a dig.
Yeah, you're in the middle of a... You actually got what we were trying to accomplish, so that's good. We did try to recreate the best we could what the area would look like before you would dig and sort of as you would dig. We actually are the smallest state park in the state park system, but one with some of the biggest goals in mind. We're also the only natural history museum in state parks, and we try to educate and do scientific studies of northeastern Utah. This is one of the unique specimens we have. It doesn't have a head, unfortunately. In fact, almost all of our fossil dinosaurs do not have heads, so we specialize in headless dinosaurs. This is the only one in the world that has complete feet. We've had 32 different countries visit us in the last year, in almost every state in the union. And it's nice to talk about what they like about Utah and state parks.
Dinosaur hunting licenses have been in existence for over 50 years. They're just a fun souvenir from our local area. Special permit number is I81U-22. And it has what you can hunt for and look for and species and how much they need to weigh and etc. And kids love to take them home and they're free.
Come out to Vernal, make sure you stop, at least leave yourself an hour or more to go through our museum and our outside gardens and visit all state parks. It's a wonderful resource and we hope more people come.
I can stamp both of them while we're here.
Good.
Steinecker State Park is an 820-acre reservoir, and it has 2 nice beaches, and most of its use is day use, 60% day use, 40% camping, and it's so close to town that people just love it and they love the beaches. Red Fleet is about 12 miles from town, and it's a totally different type of park. We also get a lot of people going on the dinosaur loop up here to Red Fleet.
All right, guys, 4:30 in the morning. We're out. Going for a boat ride.
We're hunting dinosaurs.
I don't even get up this early to fish.
Be very quiet. We're hunting dinosaurs.
Red Fleet has 200 dinosaur tracks, which we're standing at right now. They're all over this rock, but they're the 3-toed dinosaur tracks. And all that you see right there is all tracks.
Wow.
And this is a real good light to see these, because if it's real bright sunlight, you can't see them too good. Also, the Red Fleet was named after 3 rock formations that looked like 3 red ships. So that's how Red Fleet got its name. It's a 750-acre reservoir with a 38-unit campground and has a hiking trail into these dinosaur tracks that's about 1.5 miles.
Wow.
So you have this.
Right. So you have this one here, that one where you're at.
Oh, here's a good one too. Right here.
This one right here.
So
it keeps going up.
1, 2, 3.
One.
Let's crawl it, man.
2. Huh?
You can see it's kind of like a red track here, right in here.
Yeah, we see it. Yeah.
It's a little different because it's a mud-filled track. So the mud had filled the track, and there's one too.
Oh, that you can see that
right in here.
Oh.
Everybody calls Red Fleet the Little Lake Powell because of the high red rock walls. Steinecker has great camping with lots of shade and beaches to have fun in the water. So come on out and visit.
These flags, Huntington, Schofield, and Millsite State Park, these, you can see they're double seamed here. This is to put them on a pole, so when we have our icebreaker fishing tournament, anybody that's competing will put this on a pole up on their boat, and then when we come and check them to, or the judges check them to see how they're doing, biggest fish, most fish, etc., this is how we recognize them. Welcome to Schofield State Park. Highest elevation, 7,600 feet of all the state parks. And you guys made it. As you can tell, we still have snow on the mountains. And it's a brisk, I don't know, what is it? Probably 30-ish? 34, somewhere around there, I don't know. All right, thank you. Chocolate milk and orange juice, if you'd like some.
You better grab a donut.
Sounds good.
Sounds
Never
like
met
breakfast.
a donut I didn't like.
Little gangsta. are you?
Huntington.
If you look around, you know, Castledale, Huntington, there really is no city parks. And this is the ultimate city park in Emery County. And we have tons of grass, we got lots of trees, and we have a lake to boot that gets warm during the summertime. We see a lot of folks that come out locally to ride their jet skis, to operate boats. We get some fishing in the fall and the spring. And people like Saturdays and Sundays. You can't hardly see any grass because it's full of people along this day-use area here. One of the big attractions that we have is crawdads. And kids come all summer long. Every day you'll look out along that dock and there's a half a dozen kids fishing crawdads. Most of our usage is Emery and Carbon County folks that want to come out and just spend the day and relax.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, watch for that scorpion right there.
Yeah, look out. Millsite State Park, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, it's one of the hardest places in the state to get a reservation. And the reason being is this place is a reunion utopia.
We just added a new 9 holes right up here. It's now an 18-hole golf course. And I know I'm prejudiced, but it is one of the most beautiful golf courses in the state.
Where else can you in the state access a golf course, take a boat on a lake, take an ATV up on a beautiful trail, all from your campsite?
Oh yeah!
We have petroglyphs up the canyon a little ways, and you're right by the desert, some of the most beautiful four-wheeling country on earth. You need to come and see it to appreciate how beautiful it really is. And a day like this makes you glad just to be alive. You've got a very large lake. It's a good fishery. There's beautiful water skiing, and it'll put hair on your chest to water ski there because it is very cold.
When I want to go fishing with my kids, you know, do a little trolling, this is a place I go because I got plenty of lake out there, and I can always catch a limit for my kids.
Ever since our visit to Red Fleet, I'm starting to see things in rocks. Fossils. This here would be some residue. This is some ancient Indian dye. They were sitting here while they were dyeing their ceremonial baskets. Or painting this sign, one of the other two.
No, we haven't.
Goblin Valley is one of the premier scenic parts out in Utah, and we're famous for these weird sandstone rock formations. The goblins formed during the Jurassic period, so believe it or not, we would be standing at right on the beach if we were here about 170 million years ago. The inland sea deposited mud and sand and silt, which eventually turned into the weird goblins that we see today. It's really popular with kids, as you can see today. It's kind of like the ultimate hide-and-seek playground for them. But we're also pretty popular with people from outside the country and outside the state, so we have a good mix of people who like to come here. We have a 24-site campground, and that's pretty popular, especially in the spring and the fall when the weather's nice. And the campground has showers and flush toilets and all that good stuff.
Here we are at Goosenecks State Park. Gooseneck, just like the name might imply, is really a twisted piece of the river. If my memory serves me correctly, I think there's 5 miles of river within 1 horizontal mile of travel. So that tells you a little bit about how twisted the river is down below us. It's over 1,000 feet to the bottom, and you look straight off the edge here.
Up. It's unofficial, but 1,027 miles.
Edge of the Cedars is an ancestral pueblo and home site. That's what we're standing in front of now. People lived here from approximately 700 AD until about 1220 AD. We house one of the largest collections of ancestral pueblo and pottery on display probably anywhere. And that's what people really come to see from all over the world. We are a unique state park. There are a few of us that are called heritage parks. And our mission and our goal is actually to teach the history of Utah, which is just such a crucial story to be told. And I believe that fits right hand in hand with the state park's mission, because we want people not just to recreate in our wonderful, beautiful areas, but we want them to truly understand the history of what makes each place in Utah special and unique. And that's what we do. This is an actual pueblo, but anything from your waist up has been reconstructed. What happens with a ruin like this, because it's out in the open, what happens is over time it falls in on itself. And those rocks that fall in on themselves actually support some of the walls. And so some of the walls are able to stay in place. Then as dirt blows in, as it's neglected and not used over time. And so when we excavated it, we took those middle stones out, rebuilt some of the walls, particularly this one back here, so you could get a visual of closer to what it would have looked like lived in. And then the kiva has been completely restored, because that was the first thing to go, because it is subterranean. And it gives the visitor a unique experience of actually going inside of a kiva, which is a sacred ceremonial room. The feeling you get in there is unlike any other. It's truly a connection with something that's long gone.
Dead Horse Point is pretty much famous because it's a narrow point of land that expands out, and so you have to cross this really skinny neck to go out into Dead Horse Point and look down at the river below, the Colorado River, and there's a big gooseneck in the Colorado right there. And it got its name from a legend about the cowboys used to round wild horses up out of the point, and they would fence off that narrow area that I told you about with debris and brush and all kinds of things, and then catch the horses they wanted to sell, take them to market, sell them, and release the rest. And for some reason, a few horses died out there, and we don't know why. And we did find skeletons, so we know that it's Dead Horse Point. In our museum, you would be able to learn quite a bit about the local animals, plants, as well as local history, ancient history. We do have a great geology display behind us, and we have a brand new children's area where they can come put puzzles together or read books about local animals and solar systems, stuff like that.
Welcome to Green River State Park. We're here in, seems like the middle of the night, but this is a great time. We've got a small little state park. We've got a 40-unit campground with 2 group sites. We're located on the banks of the Green River, where we've got mature cottonwood trees, modern campground, boat launch access to the Green River, thus the name. And then that's why I'm doing this. We also have a golf course, so I'm doing double duty here. This is the latest and greatest, and the logo here. Green River is a small, isolated little community located 50 miles from the next closest community, and so that's a challenge for us. Certainly 75% of our play comes from outside of Green River, which is helpful for our community and the county. We just need to get more of it.
The state park was established in 1971. It's based on a ruin that's behind the museum that was occupied 900 years ago. We have a replica that you can walk inside, and it gives you an idea of what it was probably like to live here 900 years ago. When they excavated the site, all the objects that they pulled out of the site are on exhibit in the museum. So this being one of the heritage parks, a lot of people come here to see that, to learn more about the Native American ancestry. A lot of people pull in here just to have a little picnic lunch on our grounds here, then have an opportunity to visit the museum. Our museum store is renowned for carrying high quality Native American jewelry. And so not only do you get to see one of the prettiest places in the world, you get to visit this incredible village that was built here 900 years ago.
I just go chasing anywhere around the state I can to find her. And today it's going to happen 3 different times within an hour.
This is my good buddy John DeLeva. I said that last name right?
You got it.
And John actually produces, publishes, and sells Discover America. So this man is a professional trekker across America, finding the best that there is to promote to everywhere in the world.
And so much of the best is right here in Utah.
Oh, I love him. He's great.
Escalante Petrified Forest State Park is one of 43 state parks. We're the only state park here in Escalante, and we have camping, we have a nice hiking trail, we've got full facilities, hookup for the biggest RVs, and we'll take the people with the smallest tents in our campground. We've got a nice scenic trail which you can hike to see beautiful petrified wood, some of the most beautiful petrified wood anywhere found. And we also have the beautiful Wide Hollow Reservoir, which you can boat on and fish on and bird watch on. People can come out and really, really get away from it here and have a great experience.
How are you? Good, how are you? Good.
Tim Hughes.
Hi, Tim. Jerry Taylor. I'm Nice the mayor of to meet you. Escalante. Well, this is great. So we're excited to have you guys here.
Well, we passed through so many times. I guess it's probably a common story for you guys. You know, passed by, never turned in.
That's our problem. We sit between 2 national parks and we're a pass-through. We need to find ways to stop you guys and to spend an evening or 2 with us and enjoy what we have here.
Kodachrome State Park is one of the most beautiful parks in the state. It's known for the 67 sedimentary sandpipes that are here. Very unique geology, very beautiful scenery, just a great place to come and visit. The park has several amenities. We have a relatively new visitor center with beautiful displays in it. About 12 miles of hiking trail, 7 miles of that are open to bicycles and equestrian use. We have a concessionaire that runs cabins and a general store. We also have a concessionaire that does guided horseback rides. And we have a 31-site campground. So lots of stuff to do here. If you just wanted to come and do a quick drive-through the park, it'd probably take you 10 minutes, so it wouldn't be a big chunk of your day to come and visit.
this is Coral Pink Sand Dune State Park. We're about 2 miles from the Arizona border, so we're about the southernmost park in the state. The dune field is about 5,000 acres of just soft, fine coral pink sand. We do have a small campground. We've got a day use area with an interpretive nature trail. It takes about a half hour to walk. And the visitor center over there has got a sand collection that's kind of fun to see. I'd never seen one before I came here, but it's got sand from all over the world. It's a popular destination for any kind of sand machine. We get sand rails, dune buggies, four-wheelers, motorcycles. Sometimes we'll get Jeeps and trucks out here. They all have to have a flag on there, obey the law, and be registered as such, but other than that, it's a great place to go.
Sand Hollow State Park was opened in 2003 with a boat ramp that didn't go to the water in a parking lot. And we thought we were crazy, but it was popular from day one. Sand Hollow has 2 campgrounds. One is a full-service campground. The other is kind of a special design. It's built for the OHV users. From the south side, you can go up on the mountain, or you can go down to the lake and ride around the shore. In the western United States, except for up on the Oregon coast, there is no other parks that have both boating and OHV in that close proximity. So we get a lot of people that bring every toy out of the garage when they come. They have the bicycles and for the kids, and they have the OHVs, and they have the boats. And then if you get tired, you can go to Walmart if you need something, and you can go to the movie because we're not that far from town. This is Quail Creek State Park. You can't tell too much right now, but we've got probably the best bass fishery in the state. We have a lot of winter campers, winter fishermen, and then it's pleasure boating when the sun starts getting warm. You can't see it tonight, but Quail Creek is really a picturesque little park. We have a lot of loyal local people that Quail Creek's their lake. It does not have the sandy beaches of Sand Hollow, but it does have very deep and cooler water than Sand Hollow, so has its own loyal crowd.
We are now at, where are we?
Snow Canyon.
Snow Canyon State Park. When in doubt, ask the camp host. We pulled into the south gate at about 4:30. We knew we were supposed to meet someone at 5. We receive a text at 5 o'clock, 5:05, to go find camp spot number 9. We pull up past the campground. Gates are locked. So we travel to the north end of the park, about a 4-mile trip. We can now say we've gone from gate to gate. Turned around, found Galoot Camp Spot, walking through with cameras and books and flashlights to camp spot number 9. We now have stamped our books. We'll move on.
Gunlock State Park is a small park. It's a little hidden gem in the desert. The only waterfalls that I know of in any state park. It's about 260 acres, give or take, depending on where the water is. At Gunlock State Park, we do have boating, we do have water skiing, jet skiing, fishing. Bass fishing is probably the best thing right now. We do have an ATV trail that takes you up around the waterfalls. At Gunlock, we do have a couple hiking places. There's not really any trails to follow. It's just head out and see what you can find. Top of some of these hills we do have Indian ruins, some petroglyphs. You just got to get out and try to find them.
Frontier Homestead State Park was established in 1973 and preserves the history of Iron County. We have one of the largest restored wagon collections in the West, which is an incredible collection. The historic structures that we have here tell the story of the history of southwestern Utah, and not just the European settlers here, but we also tell the story of the Paiute Indians who lived here when the settlers arrived. It's places like this that preserve not only the physical history, but also the written history of an area, and that's why we're important. You just can't replace these type of things. It's an incredible hands-on experience. It's not just looking through glass at exhibits. This is actually participatory learning. You see what it was like early in Utah to live here in the 1800s. So that experience you can't get very many places.
Otter Creek is one of the first state parks created by the state park system back in the 1950s. It was originally designated a state park because of its unique opportunities for recreation down here. Specifically the reservoir, which was one of the first earthen dams built in the West for irrigation, and one of the most sound at the time for how it was built. It was built completely by hand by local farmers who needed the water. And they did such a good job that when the engineers came and inspected the dam, they pronounced it one of the best dams built in the West. But because of the excess water that the reservoir collects, it became an excellent place for fishing. It's one of the premier fishing habitats in the state. We grow some incredibly large fish, as you can see up here. Record fish here that was caught was 16 pounds plus. It also is centered around the ATV trails that are down here, the Paiute ATV Trail, which is the largest trail system in the United States, and encompasses, with side trails, over 2,400 miles of ATV riding. So if you like to fish, if you like to camp, if you like to ride your ATVs, Otter Creek is the place to go.
Things I don't know about this park. Paiute State Park, named after Frank G. Paiute. He dug this whole thing out and built the dam himself. What a guy. First off, I want to thank you guys for being here, and we really love your show, and I'm the ranger here, and anyway, thanks a lot. Okay, bye.
What is it? Rattlesnake.
Breakfast.
The best reason to come down and visit Fremont Indian State Park is it's a unique canyon with a beautiful campground, and you can stay here in the campground and come look at massive amounts of Indian rock art. And there's interpretive stories about that. You can learn about what it means, what the Indians that lived here were probably trying to tell us through the rock art. It's just an exceptional place to learn about the Fremont Indians and just spend a weekend.
All the way throughout this canyon, the male is on the right, the female is on the left. This is a little bit more later than 0 AD. It goes into about 13 to 1400. We don't know the significance, and neither did the elders, as to why they're all over the canyon, and sometimes they're about 2 to 3 feet tall. So we have to surmise that either were really extremely hated or really extremely liked and loved.
Fremont people were always thought to be small communal livers where a mom and pop and grandpa and grandma and their kids lived. So maybe there's 3 or 4 houses in a village. And when they found this, they realized they had to rewrite the whole story of the Fremont Indians, because all of a sudden this was a huge village, over I think there's 110 structures, so we knew now that they lived in larger communities. And since then, there's been a couple of other places that were found, but this was the first place they found a large community like that.
This is the largest Fremont habitational site in the state of Utah. This is the only museum that honors the Fremont Indian.
We taught about the Anasazis as being the prehistory of Utah, yet they were just down in the southern part of the state. Almost all of Utah was inhabited by the Fremonts, so that's our prehistory.
And this, the petroglyphs, as we've been told, shows, see how it zigzags back and forth? It means it's a very long journey, so it's, the Paiute elders told us about this rock here, so that's why the path goes out around it. There's a lot more up here, so.
The one on the right, do you see him with his helmet, his little horns and his stick? A lot of people come and say, well, this is our alien. And I have to kind of not agree with that, because if you were here and your buffalo were gone and your elk were gone and your deer were gone, culturally speaking, the next best thing I would do is do a buffalo dance so that I could help bring the buffalo back again. If you dress one of my sons up in our buffalo dance outfit, it looks exactly like him holding the stick. It looks exactly like him. So in my personal opinion, not from the elders, that's a buffalo dancer for a specific person for a buffalo ceremony.
I need music. I need music.
The visitor center has all kinds of books and stuff that you can buy that have to do with Native Americans, not only the Fremonts, but the other Indians that live in Utah. And there's interpretive programs there. During the summertime, they have volunteer guides that take you on a hiking trail of this little short trail that's right around the visitor center. Then they can answer your questions and explain it to you in a little more depth.
This is the place where it should have happened. This should have been the capital. It was for a short time, but it was very short-lived. When they realized the folks weren't going to move down here, they decided it would be easier to move the capital. And besides that, their federal funding dried up, so they decided this just wasn't going to be the place.
Where did you gather all the pictures from?
This was opened as a museum in 1930, so over the years they've collected a...
I mean, were families donating them, or you went out looking for them?
I don't know if I should say this on camera, but I will, but I've noticed that a lot of them were donated by daughter-in-laws. As far as the basement, there's only 2 rooms that we know what they were used for sure. The first one here on the left, the Deseret News was printed in that room during the Utah War. They hid the newspaper down here. They were afraid the army was going to destroy it, so we were the headquarters for the Deseret News for about 2 months. And the other room we know what was used for is the third one down. That was kind of a temporary holding cell. Didn't make a very good jail because they never did put a door on it. So they shackled the poor guy to the floor and kept him there until they could get him right up to the penitentiary and sugar house.
You know what's nice? They used to shackle, but they had this button for room service.
Yeah. A few things in here. The chairs are supposed to have connections to Brigham Young. When they were donated, they said that he used to sit in these chairs when he'd come through town and stop. There's a plate back here that he brought down for the legislative session for their fancy dinners. So we would be the best state park if you want to know who you really are as a Utahn. So come visit us and find out who you really are.
You got the man's tee, got the women's tee, then there's the Tim tee.
This is Palisades State Park. We have an 18-hole golf course. We have a reservoir here with full hookups, and we have 6 cabins, 3 of them with water that have the showers and the toilet in them. We rent paddle boats and canoes here, so you can spend a day with your kids or your family. Or the water gets fairly warm here. There is fishing here. There's rainbow trout, cutthroat trout, and tiger trout. We're really close to 6 Mile Canyon. You can ride up that on your ATVs, and you can ride right out of the campground on your side. So we have a lot to offer here. You can spend your day just about doing anything.
What makes Yuba special is our diversity of boating, fishing, camping. Our beaches kind of set us out from a lot of other ones. There's other parks that have beaches, but somehow ours seem to be what attracts the people. State parks are great. I like it. I like working for them. I get comments all the time from people from other states that say they like coming to Utah and they like staying at the state parks as they're traveling through because it's nice. It's an affordable place for them to stay. Prepare for the wind, prepare for the weather, and have fun and obey the rules.
I'm the park manager at Utah Lake State Park.
I had a Monster.
You had a Monster?
Yes. I don't drink those. Life is good.
Doesn't work anymore. The Utah Lake State Park is one of 5 public accesses on Utah Lake. Utah Lake is also a unique lake for the state of Utah because it is one of the largest freshwater lakes west of the Mississippi. It is also the largest public facility on Utah Lake, and we're located on the east side, just about 3 miles from west of Provo City Center. We've got 53 campsites. We have just traditional boating, traditional water skiing, to wakeboard, windy days like today, windsurfing, fishing, hunting, and things that come along in the fall. Watchable wildlife, ice fishing in the wintertime. So there's plenty to do out here.
We didn't realize how far this state park is from anywhere. On a map, you can see Utah Lake and I-15. Obviously no road across, so you travel all the way around the north end of the lake and come way out west. Took us probably 30 minutes to get out here. We promise we're gonna come back and see this park on another day, but right now, we're like a horse headed home to the stables, baby. We need to be done with this!
You know why this one is so strange? It's because Russ set the itinerary. I'm telling you, we're blaming this one on Russ.
Well, welcome to the Great Salt Lake Marina. I'm Bob, the jewel of the state of Utah and state parks.
Well, that's crazy. Our 72-hour clock ends officially when we get to OHV, because we will have visited 43.
That's 43.
So,
we gotta go. We gotta go. Let's go.
Let's get on.
We gotta make it before 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He's gonna lead the way.
Well, yes, I live in the Avenues. It seemed appropriate for me to lock up, if you don't mind.
One more!
As you can see, we're doing about 102 right now on I-80. We're being fully escorted by the State Parks Department ahead of us, headed for our last destination. Now, with those lights in my eyes, I'm trying to pass a truck.
Just checking the time. 10:36 Sunday night. even after all of our mishaps on the road and having to get another RV shipped down to us in Hurricane at Quail Creek, if we can get to the OHV park in 24 minutes, 23 minutes, it will be 72 hours. Amazing. 7 minutes, 39 seconds to 72 hours. Russ!
We made it!
Get over here, man! Get over here! It's gonna take him 15 to get down that driveway. Let me see, where's the clock?
I'm
Where's the
getting it.
countdown
It's
clock?
coming.
Where's the-
4
Look at that.
minutes and 48.
With 4 minutes and 48 seconds to spare, let me see it, guys. We did it! Thank you, State Park.
Yes, we love you. Visit your state park.
I just want to make sure we again say thank you to Chevron for their financial investment in this endeavor and making sure we stay on the road looking for Chevron stations. Also want to say thank you to Ricky Haney at All Access Recreation.
And before you overlook yourself, Tim, I want to mention KSL.
We'd like to thank our little friends in a can, Monster.
That's right.
for
It's
their
kept you on the
beverages.
road.
I think all of us have partaken to some point.
Monster Energy Drink, which, by the way, we thank our friends at Golden Beverage in Ogden. Monster now available at clubs. Check it out.
You know, Imaging Depot's been a critical sponsor
Oh,
for
boy,
us, too.
big
Yeah.
time.
On the side of the motorhome, anybody that sees us driving down the road sees great, big, huge vinyl placards, high-quality vinyl applied to the side of the RV.
Thanks to the Imagination Company. I mean, I can't tell you, if people only knew what Bill was doing behind the scenes. While we're sleeping, he's working to try and keep a steady stream of documenting exactly what we're doing every day, and it's a yeoman's effort, I'll tell you. And Skycall, of course, keeping us connected in many ways to our listeners. We wanted to make this as interactive as we could with all the modern technologies today. Well, if you thought that looked like a lot of fun, wait till you see the entire DVD and live the experiences behind the scenes with us. You can pick that up, of course, at any Utah State Park. If you're in Weber County, make sure you stop by Union Station. They're available there as well.